Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Yes, Miriam has a story?
Yes. I don't know if we remember this very sad story of a young Nigerian man in the Philippines who was murdered by some Chinese nationals, October 3rd. Yes. So investigations is still going on, you know, surrounding how he had passed. His friend had tweeted about it or put it on X, talking about how this poor boy's hands were tied up and he was gagged and beaten until he died. But right now, what's happening is that he's still in the in the mortuary, and the government, our Nigerian government, pays about 30,000 daily for his body, and if they have to bring him back to Nigeria, it will cost us 35 million naira. Or if they decide to cremate him there, it will cost about 10 to 15 million naira. So there's something they have to work out. The family, though, they're saying, see, he's the first son of their family. And in the Igbo tradition, it's more honorable to bring such a person back home.
I don't care because of 100 million. Bring the boy back home. Who's going to pay for it?
Who will pay for it? The government.
Of course.
Okay, so they can sue for the liability.
Yeah,
so it might take a long time before they get the money.
Good. So what the government is saying that this has to be sorted out immediately as per his body, either to be repatriated or cremated, because it's costing us.
That's the least of the government's problem. Just bring the boy home.
Okay.
I mean, families are...
We agree to disagree.
Yeah. Anyway, let's...
I have a story.
Okay, go ahead.
On the 30th of October 2023, the governor of Osun State, Adeleke, sacked...
Go ahead.
Oh, I ticked it.
Go ahead.
You know, the governor sacked a few commissioners. He sacked the board of 4 commissions. He sacked the board of INEC, Independent Electoral Commission for Osun State. He sacked the board for the Osun State Civil Service Commission and Osun State House of Assembly Service Commission. All these commissions,
they are statutory commissions.
They are statutory
not just
commissions.
I give you work.
Yes, he sacked the board. They were supposed to be in power till 2025, and he sacked all of them. And he has sworn in a new set of board members. They filed different suits. And they are asking for compensation to the tune of 2 billion because he has interrupted, and these people include board for justice. So, this is going to, it might end up costing the government money that we could have gone somewhere else, because they're asking for 500 million naira each in damages from this panel, and they're saying that they are taking the governor to court as well as the Attorney General. The governor should have known better, and his Attorney General should have known better to advise him.
Okay, Daily Sun, very quickly. Strike NLC records full and partial compliance. Old, new Naira notes remain legal tender, says CBN. Nigeria eyes multi-billion-dollar infrastructure funding from Islamic Development Bank. UNICEF commits $1 billion investment to combat adolescents crisis in Nigeria. Abia government shuts 197 private schools for operating below standard. Reps unveil legislative agenda pledged to tackle unemployment, foster development. Article calls for merger of opposition parties, and police vow to nab killers of Anambra YPP chieftain. Okay, which story are we taking?
Okay, our former vice president and recent flag bearer for PDP, Atiku Abubakar, hosted the National Executive Committee of Inter-Party Advisory Council Nigeria, IPAC. And while he was there, he talked about the importance of, or he was calling for a merger of all opposition political parties to form a formidable front and prevent the country from descending into a dictatorial state. He said that there's a likelihood of the country sliding into a one-party state, and stating that the project of protecting democracy in the country is not just about one man. So he's saying that, let's come together. He's also blaming the APC. He says, we have all seen how the APC is increasingly turning Nigeria into a dictatorship of one party. If we don't come together to challenge what the ruling party is trying to create, our democracy will suffer for it. And the consequences of it will affect generations yet unborn. He also calls out INEC for conducting, he says, one of the worst general elections ever in Nigeria. And also saying that, look at the off-season elections that also happened, where they are declaring results, that are just not vibing, if I may use that word. So he's saying that INEC seems to only be listening to the ruling party. So they have to all come together, all the other opposition parties, and form a formidable group against the ruling party to protect our democracy.
Yeah, so the Central Bank of Nigeria has urged the public not to panic as old and newly redesigned Naira notes will operate side by side as legal tender. I took the same story last week, and I wonder why they're still, reiterating this.
We don't know.
Yeah, the assurance was from the spokesman, Dr. Isa Abdul Momin, on Tuesday, yesterday, and he said this became necessary because people have been aggressively stockpiling the redesigned Naira notes, and so they are creating artificial scarcity in some states already, yes. Because initially, December 31st, according to how those issues happened at the time, was the last day for the old notes, and so they are saying now that that date is no longer relevant. That money is still going side by side with the newly redesigned notes. And it has no expiry date. So stop stockpiling, use your money.
Why?
The CBN is still collecting. That people
Because
still
of what
remember.
happened. We're traumatized.
There was a date given that by 31st of December, we will no longer use the old Naira notes. It was like a
Because
time frame.
it might become very difficult to get the new notes. People are
now
keeping it.
Hoarding it.
So that time I can sell it.
Yeah, so there's
for a
now
premium.
scarcity
When we
in
buy
some
Naira,
places now, in some states. So they're saying
There
that
was no cash at all, remember?
Yes.
Not only about the new notes.
yeah, there was no cash. Yes. So now, please, you can use all your money together. It's allowed. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so the reps unveiled an 8-point agenda. Doesn't sound different. The speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, was saying yesterday that the 8-point agenda was designed to provide necessary legislative support for the executive. This agenda is, let me list a few of those agendas. He said that strengthening good governance, economic development, improving national security, law reform, economic growth and development, social sector reform and development, inclusion and open parliament, influencing foreign policy and climate change. These are the usual suspects, but they're saying that they'll use the legislative tool at their disposal to create jobs for their teeming youths, address the challenges posed by poverty, improve infrastructure, ensure top quality and affordable healthcare, provide security for all Nigerians. I understand this, but sometimes legislature's job is legislate, and so I can understand their need to feel like this. We need to do more, because if we don't do this, if we don't have anything to hold on to, people will still not believe that we're doing anything. So I get that, but it's really nice for us to actually have them legislate and make sure that we have policies. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm taking the story about UNICEF. That's the United Nations Children's Fund, and the United Nations have committed $1 billion in investments to Nigeria over the next 5 years. They are saying that these funds would be used to help the youth. It's targeting the youth, and it's because of the crisis that they see happening within our environment, and we need to prevent it. They give jarring statistics about the fact that based on Nigerian population right now and the data that they have, 1 in 10 girls in Nigeria is projected to become a mother by the time she's 18. And they said that within the north central and northwest region of Nigeria, 50% of young girls, particularly in states like Bauchi and Gombe, are likely to have a child by the time they are 18. They said half of the adolescent girls that are currently in secondary school are unlikely to finish secondary school. About 43% of them will already be married before the end of secondary school, and a significant portion of these partners are older, and is impacting on their ability to make decisions, autonomous decisions. So they're going to be projecting and providing this $1 billion fund to support innovation within the universities. They will also be supporting programs that will ensure that children remain in school, fostering unity. This will be a partnership. I know that many people doubt when UNICEF commits these funds, that they say they are going to give it to get to those that they want to give it to, that might end up going back into their economy. But if any NGO that is already working within this space should get more information about this $1 billion they've committed and see how they can tap into providing solutions for young people.
Final paper, Vanguard. Let's see, story of not taking. FG reps begin probe of visa cancellation of the 264 Nigerians by Saudi Arabia. NPAN to FG provides support to ease suffering of Nigerians. Nigeria needs fresh ideas, urges restructuring to survive, says Obaseki. NLC TUC nationwide strike records mixed compliance. Oando secures $800 million affecting bank commitments for assets acquisition. And WCC can to FG address economic injustice and religious persecution. Unfortunately, Mariam, for you, I don't have an answer. I thought I would have an answer in this paper, but I don't have an answer. They're still investigating it. So according to the spokesman of the ministry, Mrs. Francisca Omayuli, said that the reports have been received and the investigation is ongoing. So hopefully the president will help us ask them, as you had initially suggested.
I know we don't have time, but this power, I'm still following up with the power. The power minister met with the Nigerian Union of Electricity Employees, and they are complaining that 10 years after we have put 2 trillion into the power sector, the federal government have injected this amount of money, we have not had improved power supply. As at before privatization, we were between 3,000 to 4,000. 10 years after privatization, we're still between 3,000 to 4,000 and dropping. So what exactly have we achieved with the privatization? What have we achieved with the 2 trillion that they've injected? And what is the minister doing to ensure that we've gotten something out of it? They are asking for a review of the privatization. That the sector is not making any progress, and they are demanding something changes within what is going on.
That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back and go on to our next sponsored segment, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.